is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to NHL and UFC. BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source for every three-pointer to hat trick. BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. BetOnline is the world's most trusted.
Who that say they gonna beat them say? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them say? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them say? Who that? Who that?
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right, shout out to the mighty Who Dat Nation, man. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate you being in the live. Big ups to the fam. Much love, much love, much love. It's Wednesday, middle of the week. Big ups to the fam. Man, let's talk some black and gold. So big ups to the fam, man. We up in this thing. Hit the like button for your boy. Appreciate every last one of you guys for being in this live, man. And it's simply unbelievable, but it is something that we've been seeing over the last several years for the black and gold have been doing, man. And listen, all I could tell you, man, is that, you know, we cannot tell you. It's what it is, right? Like the Saints right now, fam. You know, just giving you a cap update, man. Remember, they were minus such and such. We seen this happen 2 years ago when they were $100 million over the cap. When they were $70 million over the cap, it was $60-something million. Then it was $40 million. Now they're $32.5 million. We'll get to this. $32.5 million over the cap right now. Over the cap right now. I told you guys. But as you see at 2025, what the Saints simply are doing is, like I said, they're just kicking the can. After Mickey Loomis told you he wouldn't do this. He said they were going to work it back to the black. That's what his words were. But look at 2026 numbers. It's already 6.2 million into the red, baby. This was 60 million plus. Remember Chanelay with the tweet? Scott Chanelay, shout out to him saying, hey, man, this year we're going to be there. And then next year, we're going to have all kind of cap relief. You don't know how your general manager, VP person operates. He's a guy that is a kick the can ass guy. And like I said, there's Saints already in the red for the 2026 year. It's going to be very interesting. I love it. I love it. Well, big ups to you guys. Appreciate y'all for being in the live, man. Let's talk some Saints, man. Big ups to the fam, man. Y'all hit the like button. There's also a poll question for the family members to get your word in, man, edgewise, and let me know how you guys feel about what you think will happen with the black and gold. Insofar as, do you think, how many wins do you think the New Orleans Saints will get? Y'all guys let me know in the chat. Tell me how you feel about it and what you think will happen with the black and gold this upcoming year. The options are, as you can tell, fam, in the poll are 10 or more wins, 7 or 9 wins, 5 to 6 wins, or 4 or less. You guys let me know what you guys think. And this is a no judge zone, so you guys get your vote on in peace. And currently right now, so far in the poll, 48% of the family members believe that the Saints will win 7 to 9 games. That is what's going on right now. So big ups to you guys. OG Jerry vibing with the Johnsons. Good to see you, Black Major. Brother Clyde, what's going on, my brother? How you doing, sir? Keldrick, what's up, Keldrick? How you doing, bro? Backwoods is in this thing as well. Brother Duke, brother Byron, as always, representing the mighty Who Dat Nation. What's up, Linda, baby? Shout out to our girl, Linda. V Griffin, big ups to you as well. Good to see you in the building. Brother Cy, shout out to you, Cy. Thank you, man. Appreciate you for being here, man, and the support. Kai, the great, big ups to you, bro, as well. Ro, what's up, Ro? How you doing, my man? All right, appreciate you, man, as well. Brother Wallace, always representing. Much love to you as well. Good to see y'all, man. I appreciate y'all giving me some of y'all busy time today for doing this. What's up, Jaden? Shout out to Jaden, man. Much love as well. Jason, how you doing, sir? All right, so big ups to you. Also, shout out to all of the queens and the kings of the Coma, man. Shout out to Deborah as well. She's in here listening as well. Big ups to all y'all, man, for doing what y'all do and how y'all do and when y'all do, baby. Do you understand me? All right, so anyway, man, let's get into some of this game, man. We will talk about the Saints. This is a tweet we started the broadcast off with, and we talk about Mike Triplett mentioning that the Saints defensive tackle, Brother Devin, they just signed, took a pay cut as a trade from the Patriots, but got more guaranteed money for 2026. He was due 13.5 over the next 2 years with guaranteed $4 million. He gets $11 million over 2 years. So the Saints basically reworked Davon Godchaux's contract as they brought him in. The Saints reworked it, and that's where all of this money is coming up, as they basically touched on all these guys' contract. And that is how you automatically get the figure that the Saints were, because conservative estimations had the Saints freeing up $15 to $20 million. Then all of a sudden you've seen all of this changes. The Saints just went restructure crazy again. And I'm thinking this is like something that they came up with off the fly. You know, this is just something that they've been doing for a while, when they just say, we're going to just bring everybody back. And then it's just one, it's not they, it's just one dude doing this, right? It's Mickey Loomis and all these other guys shake their head. And yes, man, Loomis. So his thing is, well, why just bring everybody back and try it all in? Because injuries was the reason why we failed. We know that's not the truth. We'll see how it all happens with a new coach, a new coordinator, again, new staff. It's all changing. And we'll see. It's going to take some time. So I'm not really saying right away, fam, what I'm thinking the win total is. I know you guys have your thoughts on it, but I'm expecting some difficulty, to be quite honest with you, fam. I'm expecting some difficulty from the Saints with all of the change and the flux coming in as they kind of reestablish what they want to do. I knew it's going to be some rough errors that the Saints will have to get around to get to winning. So still a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of rumor mills circulating around with what happened with Derek Carr and all this stuff. And we'll touch on some of that stuff in some of these articles. Anyway, let's hit it up, man. Saints salary cap update. Huge trade or signing could be coming for New Orleans Saints after more contract restructures. Shout out to A to Z Sports. The Saints are proven to be themselves during an offseason. Once again, they brought back Chase Young, Juwan Johnson. They made some depth signings in free agency and upgraded at safety with Justin Reed. All these moves have been while making restructures and paying pay cut agreements with players of all season or during the offseason. Their latest choices seem to point to more additions on the way for the black and gold as well. Now, we also realized that the Saints did bring back Landon Young, and we'll clap Landon Young to go along with some of the players that they already have. We're still moving around, but it just feels like the Saints are kind of grinding to the halt in free agency. Yeah, we expected them to kind of be a little bit more ferocious in their attempts to acquire veterans to kind of help the Saints on the offensive line, the depth signings for the offensive line. And, you kind of expect a little bit more with the fact that they freed up all this money. So if you free up $30 million for this year and you kick it into the second year, 2026, and you're already $6+ million in the red, you would anticipate the Saints will go all out if you're going to take this course of direction, right? And hey, man, we're already on the path, right? This is what we're committed. And despite what I do to try to slam on the brakes, it won't make any sense because they're going to press forward on this course of action. And once again, it's not a there, it's just Loomis. It's Mickey Loomis doing this. So as we look at some of the things that's going on, you can look at your depth chart and see that we still need some help offensively, right? We have good players on offense. We just need the right coaches to come in and get everybody on code. Football is not terribly complicated unless you're off code and don't have any accountability. And it can be, as we know, as the Black and Gold Nations has seen over the last several years. I beat that horse, beat that drum this whole damn time, right? About accountability and all this kind of stuff. But the restructures of all these players, and of course, as you see, as we getting closer and closer to April, and then of course when the draft starts to hit, that it kind of has the feeling that the Saints could possibly be kind of postulating to a point where they can be able to look at saying, hey man, we're going to just start addressing the rest of these things in the draft, because it's not the same energy the Saints are focusing on now like we've seen early on when they start addressing these defensive needs, getting Reed at the safety position, trading to get the defensive tackle or the nose tackle, rather they could play the 34 system. We talked about this on the last show about are we underestimating the value of Davon Godchaux and whether or not he, what kind of player he is. He's not a flashing, like a big flashy player or whatnot, but his production is there. We did the profile look. You can also look up tape. He does command a double team, and he does get tackles, and he's productive from the interior defensive nose tackle position, and he is available. The last 4 years, he's played 17 games each year, and that is something that we really need. So if we're going to count on this player in the interior of that defensive line, which is, fam, listen, that is an uber imperative, right? That the front three guys have to dominate. The linebackers have to get used to, the outside guys like Chasen will have to get used to the 34 look of Staley. But it's not the same energy that we see the Saints operating with when we've seen how they were addressing some of the defensive needs, right? Pretty much the biggest move that we've seen the Saints do in terms of the offense was what? What do you guys think? Was it Will Clapp? Bringing Will Clapp in. Also, bringing Jake Stahl, who's a backup tight end, nothing to get complete, just a blocking tight end, nothing fascinating about that. Velus Jones Jr., who has a speed and return component as well. This is simply backup guys. Landon Young being re-signed. And not a lot going on that's really kind of blowing up the world inside. The free agent signings is what I'm saying. Of course, they did bring back Juwan Johnson. They gave him the contract and brought him back. And, stuff like that there. But, outside of that, they're not really tearing the world up in terms of the offense, like addressing the left guard position definitely needs to be looked at. And of course, hope the Saints are not looking at and say, well, we're going to give Nick Saldiveri another opportunity to kind of do his thing at that position. I hope not. I know Saldiveri is a young player, but all he's earned at this point is an opportunity to compete for a backup job. I would much prefer have a veteran at the left tackle position, or perhaps a rookie that is better than Nick Saldiveri. They got quite a few of them that we can look at in the draft within the first 3 rounds that I think that can add value there at the left tackle position if the Saints are not looking to possibly make another trade in free agency, or perhaps sign a good left guard that is left over in the draft. We'll talk about more of that. All right, anyway, this is some of the stuff that we've seen occur with this right now, with some of the moves, and this article is basically pivoting to a strategy to think about what the Saints could possibly look at doing insofar as adding all of this money that I just showed you guys, which is the Saints have over $32 million right now in cap money. What you doing? What you about to do here? We making a swing for the fence moves, perhaps? This is what they're saying here, possibly. Salary cap update. New Orleans has made some restructuring decision in recent days. These choices have come with mostly with depth players like Cedrick Wilson Jr. This is a guy advocated to be put in the street because he wasn't really hitting on nothing last year, and I think it was a bad mix. But Saints say, we're going to bring everybody back. So what they did was they reworked his contract, cutting his 2025 base salary from what it was $3.4 million to a minimum of 1.17. Common strategy. His new cap number is 1.67. He previously counted about 3.4 million against the cap. It still voids in 2026. So, and also you can see Mike Triplett. Shout out to Mike Triplett. This is the article that source that it was basically built around, as we talked about early in the stream. New Orleans was already cap compliant with a bit of room to work with restructuring these players with decisions made for bigger purposes, perhaps. Or it would seem for the Saints front office. Keep in mind that both Cam Jordan and Tyrann Mathieu also took pay cuts to stay in New Orleans. Their new deals have plenty of incentives involved. Derek Carr was restructured early in offseason too in a move to open up space. Following all these moves, the Saints are projected to have over $30 million in cap space now, according to Nick Underhill. And like I said, I've showed you right here currently on screen, according to Over the Cap, the Saints are 32.5 plus after all of these restructurings. Right? What does this translate to? What are the Saints piling up money for? This is the decision. Big move coming from New Orleans. With these moves, there are necessary. He says there are unnecessary for this offseason. A potential big time move for an impact player may be coming down the pipe for the Saints. A signing of a wide receiver like Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper makes some sense. On the flip side, adding a free agent cornerback like Ashanti Samuel Jr. and another potential starting interior offensive lineman be on the table too. Not to mention, there's a portion of the offseason where we've seen some of the left field trades happen. Could a star be on the move to New Orleans before the draft? Or are they just prepping themselves to sign a large draft class and make some depth moves to finish off the offseason? Plus, part of the open cap could roll around for next year too. They'll have plenty of more moves to make in 2026 to create space along their roster when it comes to cap once again. Like I mentioned, in 2026, Saints already in the red. They're already in the red. They're $6+ million in the red for 2026. Doesn't care, because in 2027, that's when you see your real relief, when it balloons and then most of these old players are gone. And then you really would have no other choice but to start again, a rebuild, as we've been kicking the can and scarily avoiding doing that like our adversaries have. But outside of that, could this be something? The writer makes an interesting point about, are the Saints prepping for a big move here? What are the Saints doing all this for? Why they have $30+ million, $32+ million restructured money? What are you doing? What's going on here? And I see what they're saying. Yeah, this could be something, could be big. Keenan Allen makes a lot of sense. $11 million a year. But then again, how Mickey Loomis operates contracts. He can get Keenan Allen to agree to a deal and sign him for a Mickey Loomis, boy. You can get him to sign and have that set up where that contract will, he'll kick it down the line. But we'll see what's going on here, because wide receiver is still a position. Like I showed you guys the depth chart, there's still things that need to be looked at. And mostly, I would say, on the offensive side of the ball, the Saints still need some help. They need a real left guard, not a backup that can't prove that he can stay healthy. We also need quality backups. We really do need some quality backups as well, family, to operate on the offensive line. We have backups currently are composed of an unproven, can't stay healthy Nick Saldiveri, Will Clapp coming back, Landon Young, who really just fell through the floor last year, really didn't develop. And that was the year with Landon Young been here for his entire summation of his career. We should have showed him stepped up, and we should have seen the most complete version of Landon Young we've seen. We simply haven't seen that. We simply haven't seen that from Landon Young, but he's back on a one-year deal. The Saints signed him. We know that the rest of these guys like Josh Ball and Josiah Raheem, these guys are unproven. So once again, as second layers of free agency are upon us, we have not still signed credible veteran backup offensive linemen that can come in and help the New Orleans Saints. We're still right now, I wouldn't say we're better, but I think Will Clapp was better than what we had last year as a backup guard. I think Will Clapp is definitely better than Nick Saldiveri. Not Nick Seld. What's the clown? I mean, the man's name. What's his name? Shane Lemieux. I think he's way better than, well, way better, but he's definitely more believable and can be counted on than that guy is, right? But outside of that, there's still a lot of work to be done on the Saints O-line, and in which this line is what will be counted on for us to operate in the spirit of running the football and kind of keeping the ball out of Derek Carr's hands and putting it in the hands of one more capable than Mr. Alvin Kamara. So we'll see how it all goes. But yes, we're still rolling in free agency. I do understand and agree to some of the moves the Saints have made on the defensive side of the ball, but the offense do need help from the offensive line standpoint. We could use another wide receiver too. I'm not, getting Velus is good, but he's more like he can help out in different ways. They got him penciled in as a running back. He can play wide receiver. Do like his signing. But, that's just like, that's more from the reserve side of things. We still need help. O-line first. I don't know about the tight end position now where they still have Taysom. They still have Foster. So, whatever is there. But I can also respect the fact that the Saints could use a veteran wide receiver. Now that they got the cap money, the pair next to Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and then of course hit it in the draft at some point, right? Hit it in the draft at some point. But those are some of the things, and you guys add to it. Let me know how you feel on that side. But once again, y'all answer this question for me. Do you guys believe that with all of the $32+ million in cap money that Mickey Loomis has freed up, do you guys think that the Saints about to swing for the fence? You think they're about to get one of the bigger free agents in the market, perhaps two? Let me know how y'all feel about that in the chat. All right, let's keep it going. And to kind of keep this thing on this part, the Saints also top free agents the Saints should pursue. Now, this is by way of Athline Sports, John Hendrick. Shout out to him. And this is what he thinks about some of the people that still could help the Saints with the freed up money now. Perhaps some of these guys are options. So let's kind of get into it. The Saints were in on Cooper Kupp. Saints were trying to land Charvarius Ward. The Saints should look at this player. The Saints just missed out on this player. All of these things come out at one point or another in the NFL offseason. What it says about the Saints and their direction is telling for anyone who hasn't really been paying attention. Is also not really a secret. Head coach Kellen Moore, new head coach Kellen Moore publicly said on multiple occasions that New Orleans is competing for the NFC South. He did say that, but a lot of people, that just goes true. Yeah, it is, because sometimes coaches say that, right? When they take the stand, they're like, we're competing, and it becomes kind of, background speech. It just goes past you, right? It's just a part of the game. Most of the moves the Saints have made echoes it. The Saints have created $30 million in cap space after reworked deals, which begs the questions what they're planning on doing. So even John's asking this. Here's some free agents for them to look at with the proper attention given the positions of need at wide receiver, left guard, and cornerback. 3 tiers used, essentially most expensive to at least options. This is the least inexpensive options is what he's saying. Now, the top tier free agents in his estimation, Asante Samuel Jr., Amari Cooper, Tevin Jenkins. These are some of the guys. He says about Asante Samuel Jr. that Brandon Staley could use Asante Samuel Jr. the right way. The cornerback could fill the star role for the Saints as he has a knack for making plays. He had one reported visit with the Cardinals as he's coming off a season-ending shoulder injury after 4 games with the Chargers. It flared up on him in week 1, so teams are undoubtedly going to do their due diligence on Samuel Jr. before signing him. Someone who comes to mind that has a similar injury that the Saints helped was was Chase Young, maybe could help. Asante Samuel Jr. We do know you can never have too many good cornerbacks, right, family? We do also understand that the Saints did bring in and sign Isaac Yiadom. Remember Yiadom is here, but Yiadom is in his late 20s. Perhaps the Saints could use a cornerback. We know about Rico Payton, but once again, the Saints, I think they'll address this need in the draft at some point, adding some young defensive back, maybe a safety and a cornerback there, because there are quite a few of them that are good in there. But Asante Samuel Jr. Is definitely a playmaker. We'll take a look at it. Amari Cooper, if you believe the rumor mill, has been said that Amari Cooper doesn't have anything left in the tank. Last season wasn't a good year for him. He didn't exactly make an impact with the Browns and the Bills. He got playing time, but he just didn't live up to the campaigns he had previously done. Now, Amari Cooper previously obviously knows Derek Carr from their time with the Raiders, and maybe a reunion coupled with Kellen Moore's offense will help rejuvenate him. Cooper turns 31 in June. Only for the right price with Amari Cooper. Only for the right price. Now, I think he's a baller, but, he's getting a little up there, but only at the right price. Tevin Jenkins. Jenkins arguably the best top offensive lineman left on the market, and Saints should be interested with a left guard need. He graded out among the top guards in the league and really turned his career around. He can block and protect the passer, and New Orleans needs it. Jenkins had one visit with the Seahawks, and his market price is what's going to be interesting. I know the Saints don't strike me as a team right now that, is interested in saving any money. But Tevin Jenkins does make a lot of sense because we could definitely use a legitimate left guard there because you have a quarterback that you can't allow anybody to get close to him. So I would rather rely on a veteran like Tevin Jenkins than, and get somebody that got to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? You got the world's most scariest quarterback back there. So you got to make sure your line is right. The next tier of people, Mike Hilton, what remains to be seen for Brandon Staley's defense is who ends up going where. They view Alontae Taylor as an outside guy, and maybe the slot star guy could be Mike Hilton. I'd also point out someone like Isaiah Stallbird played this role in college and was also moved from linebacker to safety last season. While that's another conversation for a different day, the bottom line is that Hilton will make an impact on defense wherever he goes. 16 games, 70% of the defensive snaps matter. And Mike Hilton ain't cheap either. If you sign Mike Hilton, he'll come in as a slot guy and he'll lock it down for you. He's a good cornerback, man. Y'all remember Mike Hilton played for, I think he came from the Bengals. He played with, I think he was with the Steelers. The guy's a solid player. Tyler Boyd, let's face it, the Tennessee Titans were a mess last season. Tyler Boyd wasn't a fit. He's several seasons removed from back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, but he still offers a bit of everything when it comes to the receiver position. Whether it's his hands, route tree, or speed, he's one target we like to see paired with the Saints. Now, of course, the Saints looking at Cooper Kupp and all this kind of stuff. I prefer to have more of a bigger wide receiver. And I think MVS made all the right sense. Of course, he didn't. The Seattle gave him a better deal. He ended up going to them. And, I don't know if I want to get a little wide receiver to go there. I really like to get a bigger wide receiver. Like, if we talking Keenan Allen to somebody like that, a big wide receiver, I think that makes sense to me. Operating in the system, you have him there, and then you have Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. I like that triplet set. I like that group of that 3 wide receiver set. I like that. Now I can respect the hell out of that. Keenan Allen, Chris Olave, and Rashid Shaheed. Who gonna do something with that? With Elvin Kamara back there, don't forget Taysom Hill roaming around, a $10 million a year. Juwan Johnson needing to step up even further. Yeah, the Saints, that's a lot of weapons for any quarterback or any team or any defensive team to be concerned with. But, let's see how it goes. Brandon Scherf. Now, this is three straight years of playing all about 93% of his offensive snaps or better is exactly something that Saints could use from the offensive line. You ain't never lying. This could be one or more rental for the left guard spot, but getting a strong veteran in the mix to help with Kellen Moore's offense would be a great idea. Perhaps Saints could put in a 2-year deal to land him. Solid lineman, kind of up in age there, but availability, man, is a skill, isn't it? And then, of course, we face the bargain bin of shopping right here. Shaquille Griffin, or Shaq Griffin. Unfortunately for Griffin, it would be another stop for him ever since he was released by the Jaguars prior to the 2023 season. He's had stops with Houston, Carolina, and Minnesota. However, with the Vikings last season, he appeared in 50% of his defensive snaps, graded out 90 to 92nd among 222 cornerbacks with a 64.3 overall grade. The Saints have the need, and Griffin could be an underrated look. Elijah Moore. The potential is still here for Elijah Moore, who turned in a respectable campaign with the Browns last season. Put it this way, he hauled in more passes than Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed combined. And he had 538-yard season, better than any wide receiver on the Saints roster last season. Yes, injuries, but also if Olave continues to be more of the possession receiver, New Orleans views him as last year, Moore could be a nice weapon for Kellen Moore's offense. Now, the thing about it is, too, y'all remember when we signed the Saints signed Cedrick Wilson Jr. Cedrick Wilson Jr. was viewed as when Michael Thomas left, and they signed Cedrick Wilson Jr. They didn't give Cedrick a 1-year contract. They see him as a person that was supposed to contribute to the Saints wide receiver core. He's supposed to bring veteran ability, a possession guy right there, and he's supposed to be the guy there and play off of Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. Those guys stretch out. He's supposed to be the hands guy, the possession guy. Well, it didn't materialize. Cedrick Wilson Jr. couldn't be counted on last year. He was in and out of the lineup. And then when he was healthy, he was getting beat out by younger wide receivers like Pettis, and all those guys were starting to get more reps, or Kevin Austin Jr. or Bub Means. These guys were getting reps over him, and he's the veteran here. So at some point, you kind of look at it and say, hey, man, Chris Olave was supposed to be, play off of that guy. Like when they set it up with Michael Thomas over here, Chris Olave over there, then Rashid in the slot. And I don't know if I respect and have nothing but love for Chris Olave. I just don't see him as a full-time one yet or ever. If we can be able to land a big physical wide receiver like we had one in MBS last year, the Saints just did not bring him back. He would have been perfect in that kind of system. He's 6'4", he's fast, and that would have worked really well. But for whatever reason, we let him go out the building. Perhaps there's an upgrade coming. I think still the Saints are looking at a veteran wide receiver for Kellen Moore's offense. It's probably going to be Allen, which I would love that pairing. But I just don't see Chris Olave. Maybe it's just me, but I've seen a lot of film on Chris Olave. I just don't see him as a full-time one. Like we were operating, and we had him at 1 and Rashid Shaheed at 2. I'm like, no. It worked in some aspects, but I'm like, man, for the offense to really flow like we wanted, I prefer to see somebody else. Keenan Allen, Chris, and then Rashid in the slot, beating the third guy, and beating that third cornerback, but whatever. Will Hernandez for starters. Hernandez is coming off a major knee injury after starting 5 games for the Arizona Cardinals last year. Actually graded out fairly well in his appearances. And the season prior, he went the distance as a starting right guard. It's hardly a surprise that he left. That left guard is the most glaring need for the Saints offensive line, and maybe taking a flyer on Hernandez could pay off. A good consolation prize might be Dylan Raditz. So we'll see how it all goes. But shout out to John. Shout out to you, John. Appreciate you, man. That he gave us some ideas, fams, of possibly people that the Saints could pick up on. He laid it down from the bargain basement to the top-notch shelf, the top shelf stuff, which we seen there. So Tevin Jenkins, to me, would be really cool. Like if the Saints signed Tevin Jenkins for the left guard position, would be cool. If they have picked up Allen, those are really good upgrades there. Because you want to be able to have veterans there, because you have McCoy there, you have Chris Olave. I'm not really that big on Cesar Ruiz. I do like Tali Fuaga. Trevor Penning, he's headed in the right direction. Let's just put that like that. But Jenkins would be a good pickup there at the left guard position. And then we have to just be about the business of kind of adding a couple of veteran offensive linemen as backups there to kind of solidify that. And that might not come here right now. That could possibly be something that happens after the draft, because we've seen that before. After the draft and leading right up to training camp, then you start seeing the Saints pick up this guy, pick up that guy, that kind of stuff. So we're still a little bit ahead of the time, but we'll just see what they got going on. But definitely with them cleaning up or freeing up all of this money, and right now currently sitting 32.5, you definitely got to look at it and say they're up to something monetarily speaking, to free up this kind of money. It could be a couple of big moves coming down the pipe, and we'll see. Hopefully it'll be something that kind of help this team head in the direction that we need to see. All right, head to the next one here. All right, shout out to who's this? Shout out to my guy Kyle Mosley. Shout out to that brother. All right, Saints linked to Patriots Joe Milton. How about this one? And yet another QB rumor. Another day, another indication that the Saints could pursue a trade for Joe Milton III. How y'all feel about that? The Patriots reportedly are shopping the sophomore quarterback who was drafted in the 6th round a year ago. The trade price is reportedly a 3rd-round pick. Should appeal to QB-needy teams in a year lacking high-end quarterback draft picks or draft prospects, which is not necessarily the case, because Joe was a guy, big quarterback, strong as arm when he was at the combine. He is definitely brimming with potential. If you got a guy like the guy is just could throw the ball from one end of the end zone to the other, massive arm, questionable decision abilities, but tall in the pocket, and just would impale you with the football. If you can work with Joe Milton, you could turn him into something phenomenal. But outside of that, a 3rd-round pick for a 6th-round pick, do they have the vision? Saints could be one of those teams, according to Ben Violin of the Boston Globe. Per sources, there are growing sentiment that the Patriots are entertaining trade offers for Milton. Violin wrote in a piece published Wednesday, the Saints have Derek Carr, Spencer Rattler, Jake Haener, and Ben DiNucci under contract, but none are the future of the franchise. Well, that's interesting for a Boston Globe reporter to talk about matters of the Who Dat Nation, number one. A lot of people don't see Ben DiNucci as a future anything. He's just a backup guy here, the camp arm, if anything. Jake Haener is definitely not the future of the Saints organization. I mean, he has not developed in the way that we thought he should develop. And of course, we look at Spencer Rattler, who does have every potential to be a guy that you turn to in the future, to possibly be a guy that you can kind of look at and say, hey, man, I like this kid a lot. He's smart. He's got a strong arm. He's smart. There's some stuff to his game he got to work on. He's a leader. And you could take Spencer Rattler and you could turn him into something. You could turn Spencer Rattler to a lot, man. You know, like I said, he's a lot. He has a lot of potential. He's the closest to any franchise future QB that you could have on the Saints current depth chart. You're damn sure ain't Derek Carr, you know. But anyway, they're saying, this is what the Boston Globe writer is saying, that sitting with the number 9 overall pick, the Saints may get shut out of the second year in a row. He said might get shut out of the second year in a row from the top quarterbacks. Well, Mel Kiper Jr. said that he believes the Saints will draft, Shedeur Sanders? I've seen that report that he's picking them in Mel Kiper's draft, that they believe Shedeur will slide down to number 9. Or did he say Shedeur or Joe, or was it him, or I think the other guy said him. I might be mixing them up. What was the kid? Or Jackson Dart. You know, they perhaps thinking that. But I do believe that Jackson Dart is going to go. Y'all remind me which one is which. Yes, Dart. There you go. My bad. It was the other guy talking about Shedeur slides to the Saints at 9. Kiper was talking about, I think he said Dart. But what's interesting is, with the Jackson Dart pick, is like, that's not the first time we've been linked to Jackson Dart. A few practices and all this kind of stuff is really showing that you know, that his accuracy is a little bit better than what people anticipate. He has all the athleticism in the world. He got a strong arm. He's intelligent and he's a leader. He is exciting to watch. If you ever watch, we played against Jackson Dart at LSU, and Jackson Dart is a player that lights up the field, man. I mean, he's very decisive, throwing the ball up the field or just taking the hell off. And that dual quarterback situation is something that we have to watch out for. That dual quarterback situation is something we definitely have to pay attention to be quite honest with you, because at the end of the day, all I see when we talk about quarterbacks here is the fact that you look at, like I said, I can see the man climbing in the draft because there is no bona fide third quarterback right here. Like it's either you talk about Cam Ward, or you talking about Shedeur, or then, you know, Jackson is like the last guy. Then after that is people will start clumping the quarterbacks together. You start talking about guys like what's his name? The guy Quinn Ewers from Texas. Then you start talking about you know, a few of these other cats that's around here lurking about the Jamil Rose and all them further down. So you start mixing them, you start picking quarterbacks according to what you see them as, right? Or what you believe them to be in your system. Me, I actually like McCord. I think McCord from Syracuse is a good quarterback. He's not the athletically guy, but he's accurate. He's smart. I think I could work with that. I could work with a guy like that. I think Kellen Moore would like him. But there is a premium on those dual guys, the guys that can throw and run. Look at Jalen Hurts. Look at some of the Lamar Jacksons of the world. And I comparing the kid to him. But I'm saying if you have the ability to throw and run, there is definitely some liking going on with you on that. All right. So anyway, this is what the guy finished saying. The Saints may get shut out for the second year in a row from the top two quarterbacks, the top quarterbacks. It may be worth it to trade one of their day 2 picks, he's saying, number 40 and 71 and 93 for a low risk, high upside QB. Why are we giving up 3 picks for a quarterback? Make me understand that. I don't understand that logic. Milton entered the NFL with a jaw-dropping arm strength, but mind-numbing inaccuracy. Exactly. But we seen that at Tennessee, didn't we? We knew that he was a project. Like when he went to Tennessee, he was doing the stuff what he did was phenomenal. But at the next level, he has the size and the arm ability, but they also knew he's not as inaccurate as they portraying him. In college, he was actually pretty accurate. It wasn't his accuracy that wasn't the issue. It was his consistency. That's the thing. Is a big difference there. Because the guy could make the passes, but you have to work on him, his reads, and him getting the ball there, operating with not just putting a little power on the ball, but also having the touch to go along with it. But we knew when we scouted Joe Milton coming out of college, out of University of Tennessee, that we ultimately knew that the consistency in terms of what he was doing from his accuracy would be something would be a problem. But his numbers were good. If you go and look at his numbers and how he played there, he has some stuff going on. But like I said, it's potential that you got to find somebody that believes him and willing to work with him. You know, that's the big part. But yeah, I don't know if I give up that much for him. Replacing rookie Drake May after just one series, Milton essentially made his first NFL start. He capitalized on the opportunity, completing 22 of 29 for 241 and 1 TD while rushing for another score and committing 0 turnovers in the win over Buffalo. Surely Buffalo barely played as starters, but Milton's performance was nonetheless impressive. Now the Patriots are in position to flip Milton for a day 2 draft pick, and the Saints could be serious players. We're not giving up that kind of draft capital for Joe Milton, although I do like Joe Milton. But the Saints taking a quarterback at 9, as opposed to they'll go best player available. But it also depends on leading up to that, what moves the Saints make. Do they get the offensive lineman? Do they get the wide receiver? You know, do they add another cornerback, the veteran? Then everything else is just you do what you want to do, right? I still say offensive line is a problem. Even if you get a veteran at the left guard position, I still would see about trying to get, because your backups, man, my goodness, we still need some good backups there. So, I mean, we still have to build that line. We still got to protect Carr, and we got to run the ball. You know, he's no good when you get him rattled. Dude ain't no good. All right, anyway, let's keep it moving. Saints lose 2-time Super Bowl champion to Dolphins. Saints are losing defensive piece to the Dolphins, man. Saints did a solid job having player-tested talent last season. One guy the Saints brought in the time was linebacker Willie Gay Jr. He signed a 1-year deal with the Saints and appeared in 15 games with the franchise. He started 8 games for the Saints and finished the year with 28 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, 1 hit, 3 passes defended, and 2 fumble recoveries. Let me ask you guys this. How do you rate Willie Gay Jr. 1 year with the Saints? Saints picked him up from the Kansas City Chiefs. How do you rate Willie Gay's how do you rate his time in New Orleans? Put it in the chat, let me know, right? What's up, brother Larry? How you doing? What's up, Carla, baby? Shout out to Carla. Jay Hunt, what's up, bro? Yeah, y'all let me know. Put it in the chat, y'all. Do me a service. Hit the like button, number 1. Number 2, rate what kind of grade, let's go letter grade. What would you give Willie Gay for his performance last year? What do you think? Would you give him A, B, C, D, or an F? What would you give Willie Gay? Give me a grade on Willie Gay. I'm interested to see what you guys think on that. Free agent linebacker Willie Gay is signing with the Dolphins on a 1-year deal, according to Fowler. Miami finished the 2024 season second place in the FC East with an 8-9 record. The Dolphins were behind in 13-4 Buffalo Bills, but did not finish ahead of the 5-12 Jets and the 4-13 New England Patriots. Gay was selected in the second round of the 2020 draft by the KC Chiefs and spent 4 years of his career in town. He was a starter for the Chiefs for years and was a part of 2 of the Super Bowl winning teams. What would you give him? Look at that. The family. Shout out to L-Dub, Darwin, OG, Praise YJ. What's up, brother? All right. Carla says, okay. Backwoods say, yeah, man. Jay Huntsberry says, what up, Q? Missed that other linebacker that signed the same. All right. Backwoods says a C. Look at that. Very underwhelming. Yeah, Carla. Larry says D. Shout out to you, Larry. Duke says a C. Gay gets a C minus. Okay, Jay Hunt, thank you, brother. L Dub says C. Darwin says C. OG says C. Praise YG says YJ, says underwhelming. Yes. John, what's up, brother? John said the time was nothing special. I thought he would play better. C. Big Valley, C minus. Is that a C minus? Yeah, C minus. Brother Gregory says C minus. What's up? V Griffin says C minus. No, just C. Byron gives him a B. Okay. All right, Byron. LM says D. Okay. Byron says B. Okay. All right. Slim, what's up, Slim? Says C. Black Major gives him a B. All right. Therese says C minus. All right. Yeah. Jaden says A. Okay. He gave him A C minus. Okay. I got you, brother. Yeah, dude. You got to talk it out. I got you, brother. You got to talk it out. All right. Doc Savage says B. All right, thank you, Doc. Appreciate you. Doc 504 says Doc 54 says C. All right. Oh, thank you. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, YJ. Thank you, man. Appreciate the compliment. Much love, my brother. Thank you. Dominic, shout out to Dominic, says a D. All right. Bob says a B. Really, Bobbin? Bobbin with the Johnson says a B plus. All right, okay. Personally, I mean, I'm wanted to know y'all guys' thoughts on it, because when we brought him in, it was he had the potentiality to be the replacement linebacker for Demario Davis. And what we seen was, we thought it would be a competition, right? But what Mickey Loomis did was, I'm not going to say the Saints. It wasn't the same with Mickey Loomis. Mickey Loomis signed, what's his name? Pete Werner early. He gave Pete Werner his money early, and it was supposed to, and we got the indication it was supposed to be a competition. Like it was between these two men, because they brought Willie Gay in because Pete Werner, even though he's incredibly smart and could be a playmaker, the majority of the time he's out there, his athleticism was an issue. So we needed, and Demario Davis is getting older, so his lateral movement is not there anymore, and Pete Werner's not as spry and fast as you want him to be. So Willie Gay was a speed linebacker that was brought in to help the Saints, and potentially he could have been the guy the Saints could have used to replace a Demario Davis, but the Saints said bump the competition and just gave Pete Werner the money right out the door. Right, a week or so within the first month of the season, they played Pete Werner. I was like, why are they paying Pete Werner this early? Why are they paying him so early? Well, I thought this is what they said when they signed Willie Gay here. The idea was that those two guys compete for that, compete for the job. Well, then they said they just paid Pete Werner. Now Willie Gay is a Miami Dolphin. I don't know, but once again, you can see, just speaking about that, you go in and then you look at what the hell has happened in terms of the switching of the defense. So that's a part of it, right? That's a part of the dynamic now. As the defense switches, then you have two defensive linemen defensive ends from last year in the 4-3 scheme slide to outside linebackers for the Saints defense. Still does not obscure the fact that you need backups just in case Demario or Pete Werner, who's known to be hurt, might miss some times. Do the Saints have faith in Anthony Orji? I do like Anthony Orji a lot. Undrafted linebacker. He has a safety speed set to him. Hits like a son of a gun. Has impressed me. I really do like all of our undrafted linebackers, or the young linebackers we have. I like Anthony Orji a lot. I think he's probably the most ready to play out of all the other linebackers we have. Not to say nothing bad about Jalen Ford. I just hadn't seen enough. Potentially, I've seen some plays for him. I think he can be a component because he was incredibly productive at Texas. There's potential there. DeMarco Jackson. I just don't know about DeMarco Jackson. Question marks all over the place about DeMarco Jackson. Isaiah Stallbird does have like a safety skill set to him and how he moves around right now. He had some plays that I seen him make last year in limited action, but out of all these other line, and Nephi Sewell coming off of that injury is a good special teams linebacker. He actually was playing so well, and this was like when Zach Baum was here. Y'all remember Nephi Sewell was playing so well at the linebacker position that they forced the Saints to remove Zach Bowen from that linebacker position. Sewell took over, and then they tried to put Zach Bowen and moved him to being more of a pass rusher. Y'all remember that? But Nephi Sewell kind of forced him out of there because he was playing so well. So, like I was saying, but the 3-4 look, you're going to need those linebackers to step up, and we might have some injuries. And of course, another potential outside linebacker, when you talk about these other linebackers, Saints slide, I mean, the defensive ends, they slide in 2 linebacker and Chase and Granderson. There's also Isaiah Foskey there that'll be doing that. And I'm pretty sure they'll move these guys around however they see fit. Them getting big Jonah Williams to come in, he'll play on the defensive line, maybe not as a starter, but as a key reserve in Staley's system. They ain't just bringing these guys like Davon Godchaux and Jonah Williams here for nothing. These guys will contribute in some capacity. Like we've seen Tanu Passanyo's going now. So we'll see how it all works, but just wanted to get you guys idea on what you thought about Willie Gay. Now that he's gone, he's a new a Miami Dolphin. So there you go. Thank you, Doc. Appreciate you, bro. Says, never mind all that cute. Damn, brother. Never mind all that Q. Who the hell this car thing?
He ain't lying.
Well, goddamn, Doc. Shit. Hell, you said never mind all that Q. Who the hell does car think he is? That's the energy in which he. Well, listen, bro. Listen, I probably a handful of people in the region of the Who Dat Nation that's not mad at Carr like that. I'm not mad at Carr like that, brother. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm not mad at Carr because Carr didn't put a pistol on Loomis and say, hey, man, let me get that check about you. He didn't do that to him. Saints gleefully turned over that check and that money to Derek Carr. Derek Carr was trying to get out of here. These reports were indicating he was trying to get out of town. He was looking to leave, and it was Mickey Loomis that basically held him not only here but for next year too, because his dead cap hit is $69 million next year. So you more than likely going to have Derek Carr in this year and most certainly next year. So he was trying to leave, which made sense because Dennis Allen got fired. Dennis Allen's gone. Derek Carr is not a young quarterback. Derek Carr wouldn't have been down here if it wasn't for Dennis Allen, aka Coach Possum. He wouldn't have been down here. The Saints would not have went and got Derek Carr if it wasn't for Dennis Allen. He did everything he possibly can to bring that goddamn guy down here. So in the end, he was trying to leave because his coach was gone. The only person that really believed him like that was Dennis Allen. But Mickey Loomis, being who he is, actually believes, that's how stupid Loomis is. And I'll say it again, he's stupid. He believes that the only reason the Saints failed was because of injuries. He has no concept of none of him hiring a dumb coach who couldn't keep people accountable, who was backstabby, who threw his team under the bus. And by the way, he didn't say anything about none of that when he did it. Didn't say nothing about that. The man with the man, they fired. We forced the mighty Who Dat Nation and the great Saint think tank forced the Saints. We forced Gale to lead that bingo game and go down there and fire that guy and push him up out of here. Forced him on up out of here. Forced him clean up out of here. That if you left it to Mickey Loomis, he wouldn't have done nothing. You'd have let him stay. And he stupidly, ignorantly, and just brashly sat there and refuses to admit to stupid ass decisions over and over again. And it's just frustrating because, and listen, if you are a shyster and an idiot and a moron and a chump and a simpleton, there's supposed to be somebody over your shoulder making sure you're getting this stuff right. And there was nobody over his shoulder to make sure you get anything right. That's that Toy Story looking ass Dennis Lauscher who's supposed to be doing that. He's not doing none of that. These people don't believe in no accountability. All they believe is the balance sheet. And it's obvious. But in the end, I don't blame Derek Carr for taking the Saints' money. The Saints are forcing their money into his pockets as fast as they can give it to him. So, like I said, Carr told him, I ain't taking no pay cut. And he was trying to get out of town. And there were rumors saying that people were interested in taking him, and the Saints would not let that happen. Mickey Loomis is the guy that people need to be upset with. If you're going to be upset, I would just leave Derek Carr alone, because Derek Carr is just going to keep taking the money. And if he doesn't perform on the field, and he just probably not, I think he's kind of crazy, to be honest with you, because ain't no player in the world. I mean, he might have the brother probably took a lot of shots upside his head. He scrambled his noodle. Because I've seen somebody put out a highlight reel of him getting blown up and getting hit. I'm like, damn, that guy, he really got his bell rung. He gets beat up. Like during his time with the Saints, he got broke up a lot. Like, you know, I don't know too many people that will face dive. Hell, that's like when he did that move, when he jumped, who does that? Now, listen, I understand you trying to make a play, but you make a play as smart as you can. You don't try to leap over the head of your 6'3" wide receiver. I mean, you literally leaped onto the guy's head, and the guy just moved out the way, and then next thing you know, face first into the turf monster. I don't mean to laugh, but I'm saying it's almost similar to somebody diving into a swimming pool with no water in it. You know, it's cool, man. When that happened, man, I what's messed up, man, and I didn't mean to do it, but I was just showing the move, and it had the replay of it, and I just was going back and forth like, you know, look what this is. Look, he just dives, and then he goes face first. I didn't mean to do it. But who does that? Who tongue kisses the turf monster? And he lost too. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, he getting older, and you know, he been hurt 2 years. The Saints had him. Dennis Allen is no longer here. That was his biggest protector and advocate. Because Mickey Loomis, once he give you the money, he gonna just go in his office and close the door, and you gonna get tore up. But this is the boy. I'll tell y'all. Y'all think it's in like he has no protection mechanism now. No, I'm not saying Kellen Moore won't go to bat for him, but it's different when you got a guy that bring you here versus the guy that brought you here is gone. So which means your protection is gone. And listen, people don't get, these players don't understand. When you come here, you're not, it's like they think they can play for these other squads. They come here and they do not because every football culture is different. How they handle their players is different. Look, if you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, man, and you talk to the players and the coaches, the Philadelphia Eagles, family base, the supporters do not play that. They are hardcore on their teams. They let them have it. If you listen to the sports radio, they tearing them up if they doing stuff. Oh, they tear them up. The same thing goes with what is it that I hear from the Baltimore people. The Philly people, they're running some of the roughest. And the Who Dat Nation is up there. You're not going to come because we are perceived as a small market team. If you're a player and you taking this kind of money from the same, I ain't talking about no bench player, no disrespect. I'm talking about a guy that's taking over $100 million from you, and you got something as eye grabbing as the quarterback position. Don't expect to come here and just think you're going to take this money and not get no pressure that comes with that. You're going to get pressure. And if you're not winning and you're a quarterback for the Saints and you making $150 million and you're not winning, even though we do realize not all that falls on the quarterback, but as he's perceived as the leader of the team on the field. So if he is checking the ball down 6 to 7 times a game, and then you say, well, 67% completion rate, and if you go and break the stats down and watch the games and not just listen to people stat prattle to you about numbers, they're not really watching these games like this. I watch every game that Carr put that uniform on as a New Orleans Saints player, and I could tell you why his accuracy numbers are up, because he checks the ball down 5 to 7 times every damn game. And that doesn't contribute to wins. It really doesn't. because he's doing that because he's not seeing the field. And that's why I'm bringing back to the fact that he's getting all, he getting these head injuries, he's getting broken up. I don't think his mind works. No disrespect, but I'm thinking when you get knocked around that much, something got to go wrong. Because I don't see how a guy that's been playing professional football and did college football for all these years says he knows how to study film and then gets on the film and don't see that he's staring people down. I just don't know what to tell you on that shit. Well, you know what? I'm out here staring this guy down. You mean to tell me you don't see did you miss that guy wide open over there? And you doing that you're not going through the progressions, kid. You're not doing it. And I just don't know what to tell you, man. If I can't get you not to stop doing that, and you don't need to be a quarterback. You don't need to work for me. That's damn sure. I need you to see it all. When it's time to look, you see it all, because you're really depriving yourself of opportunities to the opposite side. People working their ass off to get open. You're not even looking over there. That's the thing. That's why a lot of people be having problems with Derek Carr. Sometimes it be the ball placement where he put the ball at, the fact that they running these routes with all their passion in their heart and he ain't looking in their direction. It's so many times on tape you see that happen. It's like too many times. It's to the point it's very concerning. Like, who's going to teach you, and you've been in the league for 12 years, to stop staring people down and learn to pump fake more so that you throw the safeties off. And if you won't throw left, pump fake to the right and then throw left. They got college quarterbacks that don't get caught up like that, man. So, I mean, I don't know what to say about that. That's all I got to say about the Carr thing, but it's not his fault that he's still here. He was trying to get out of here, and Make It Luma says, nah, we're going to keep you. Thank you, Doctor.
I'm trying to say thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
Derek Carr is the starting quarterback of the New Orleans Saints thanks to one Mickey Loomis. And will that lead to success? It depends on how the Saints utilize Derek Carr and Kellen Moore's offense. If they create this offensive line that we hear them talking about and running the football like they did, similar to what they did with Philly, it's going to be, that could be a way to do it, because you have more of a person that you believe in Alvin Kamara than what you would have in a Derek Carr, who has to learn a offense again for the third year in a row. Another new offense he got. That's 3 years. The man been here for 3 years, and that's the third offense in 3 years that he got to learn. When that happens, then usually you don't always tend to rely on the quarterback right away, especially when the year starts. Those guys got to figure it out, right? But the running attack, you got to learn. You got to, regardless of what the system is, you have to run the football and pass it. But I'm saying the play action is something that Derek Carr is very comfortable with. Anthony says Carr can't beat Rattler in a fair competition.
I'm trying to say thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
In a fair competition, can Derek Carr beat Rattler in a fair competition? You might be right on that, bro. You might be right on that. The thing that's the thing about Derek Carr, man. What I just said about, thank you, Anthony. That's the thing I think about Derek Carr. Like, I don't dislike Derek Carr. I just want you to fix that. That's the next level of your game. If you can get that together and fix that, or at least an offensive coach come in and say, listen, bro, this is the problem. Because the guy don't get it. He's been in for 2 years. He's still saying the same stuff. Like, we knew Pete Carmichael was an idiot. We knew when we got Clint Kubiak in here, he started off well and wanted to speed Derek Carr because he said that Derek Carr was playing too slow. We need to speed him up. He kept talking about speeding him up. He talked about how his footwork was bad. He didn't say bad, but we got to work on his footwork. I'm like, goddamn. Pete Carmichael had this guy last year. You mean to tell me something wrong? Pete Carmichael didn't see his footwork bad, or the fact that he was playing too slow? And then he'll go out there and rip it, and then he'll say, he's on me, man. He's on me. This is Derek Carr talking about Clint Kubiak. Yeah, you know. God there, Clint says, I threw the ball out there, and then, and then he said, do it faster. And that's good. Now do it faster. Like, goddamn. But I mean, it's just something very interesting, man, that we will have to see what Kellen Moore and Coach Doug Nussmeier can do. But take it from me, man, from watching this gentleman, I would prefer that you guys beef up that offensive line and run the football and get him into the play action. That's what you need to do. That's what I've discovered about Derek Carr. We ain't talking about Derek Carr 10 years ago or 5 years ago. I'm talking about Derek Carr now. The Derek Carr we have right now. And a little bit too much of this. It do too much of this and not enough play on the field. And let me tell you, players, something when you come down here and put the jersey or the helmet on of the New Orleans Saints. They say it's a small town region or whatever you want to call it, a small town franchise, whatever you want to call it. But listen, that might be what you say, but that won't be the energy that you feel from us. Because I'm gonna tell you, the mighty who that nation is as tough and as rough as some of these other people is. Probably rougher than some of these other people. We'll own you. If you don't handle your business, we gonna speak out on you. If you're in here making excuses, we gonna tell you about yourself. I'll lead the charge. I talk it like I walk it. I don't care who you are. You gonna represent us right, or you gonna get all this smoke. That's the bottom. That's why I'm at with mine. I'm sorry. I mean, if they want some timid ass person, you can go ahead and get them. But here in the Who Dat Nation, man, I'm not letting these guys make it no more with these excuses. I'm not letting them make it no more. I'm sorry. We've been losing for far too long, and we losing because of losing ass philosophy, losing ass coaching, and guys that have lost so much that it didn't become antiquated. It became accepting of a losing excuse making culture. And that's what it is with Cam Jordan sitting on his ass making excuses about all the injuries, and then these DS and glazing ass reporters sitting up there where the people talking about the health stamps. That's not it. Well, what is it? What is it then? Well, I'm so glad there's platforms out there to counter the narrative. Could you imagine if these platforms did not exist, with the kind of foolishness these people would be getting away with? Hell, that's why I told y'all guys over a decade ago we started the Sports Coma, because I was frustrated listening to sports radio and hear these glazing ass reporters up here giving these players accolades and protecting them. But then at the time, you don't understand, and we had weird relationships, monetary relationships, where they would protect each other. They would shy away rough criticism of the team because they was in bed with them monetarily speaking. We don't have such a link. We could tell it like it is, because we gets it done with, and I ain't no affiliation or connection to the New Orleans Saints. Hell, my thought process is we've been here before you, we'll be here after you. That's how I look at it. And besides, all of the money coming from you anyway, so you holding all the power. So what I'm looking at him for? You get what I'm saying? They should be running up to you. That's how this is. We flipping all that around. Them narratives don't exist no more, man. Enough of that. Enough of that losing ass shit. Talking about this and then Damario getting up there and saying all this stuff about having faith with the Saints and all that without no works and nothing going on. What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? That's the new age of how we approach this. Let this be the theme, or maybe the template of how we approach these teams, because they don't want you to be, what's the term? They don't want you to be critical of the BS they doing. They just screw up, mess up, and then raise the prices on you. Say, hey, we're gonna do it again. That's what they do. How you explain the Saints and Pelicans raising their ticket prices and they both stink? How you do that? And you paying their rents for their buildings in the dome. They don't pay no rent on none of that up in there. And they get tax breaks, incentives, and all that shit. And they sit up here looking at you, trying to be talking to you crazy and raising the price. Hold on, how you raising prices on teams? Both teams stink. How that work? If you fail in this body, it's not because of Big Q. It's not because of Carla. It's not because of vibing with the Johnsons. It's not because of Barbara. It's not because of Jerry. It's not because of Slim. It's not because of any of these great people. None of these JT Wallace, Black Major, none of these folks, man. Doc 54, Deborah. It ain't none of Big Q. It ain't none of them guys. It reads Jay Hunt. It ain't because Duke. None of these folks, man. Anthony, why the Saints are failing. It ain't because of it none of this, but you supposed to sit here like this and just go run us your money like some like Umar Johnson says. run me that cash app. Oh boy, where are we, man? We done fail so far, fam. If we allow this to happen, man, we can't let these people play with us like this, man. You know what I mean? I got too much pride. I got too much love for myself to let somebody play with me like that, man. Come on. All right. So anyway, man, listen, man. It's a different move, man. Listen, fam, I'm listening for my new people that's listening. I know this might sound different. Like, damn, man, I ain't know people talk like that about you. Damn right we do. This would a fed up man look like after being lied to and cheated for 4 years. This is what he looked like. That's right. That's what he looked like. Man, I am so sick of these people, man. I'm so sick of these people, man. I don't know what to tell y'all, man. Oh my goodness. Oh man, but you know what, family? Y'all make it all worthwhile just to talk to y'all, man. Y'all be having me tripped out in the chat laughing. Man, y'all make it work. Especially the family members at the Pelican post-game report, man. Y'all for you know how difficult it is to do the Pelican post-game report. Been doing that for years. Pelican sitting up here with 15 wins. What is it? 18? I don't even know no more. They sitting up here. These people got the nerve to sit up here with 18 wins. They got 18 wins and 51 losses. And we got shows going up there. We beat, man, listen, man. What you gonna do with that? Them people ain't giving you no material to work with. Man, let me tell you. It's something else. All right. Anyway, thank you, Pammy. Shout out to what's up, Pammy, baby? How you been, girl? Shout out to you. Thank you for being
to say thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
Yeah, the trolls, man. I don't even see them, man. Somebody tearing them up. I think Jared tearing them up. The mods tearing them up. I don't see any of the trolls, man. But the reality is, a lot of the trolls are stupid, man. They are, man. I hate to tell you that, man, but a lot of people already know that. You know, you got people you could talk about the Saints with, and regardless of what the team do, if the team is right, it's nothing they do nothing wrong. I mean, how you gonna do anything with that? You can't even. That person don't even have any. They're not even. If they have a brain, they ain't got it turned on. Because you could talk to them, say, hey, man, listen. The team stink. It's garbage. They lost for 4 years. They've been lying. They got a dumb hit. They hired a dumb coach. They got a dumb general manager, VP guy that's running the team out of arrogance and not intelligence. They don't have a plan. You tell them all that, and they still tell you go Saints. What? Does that work? What? Go Saints. Well, okay, hold on. You go to Saints or go to hell. I mean, what? I mean, it's just crazy, man. You got to, if you enjoy sport, but you don't have to de-evolve your thought process, your logic pattern to be involved in sports. You take all of that into it. You bring that into it. You know, you don't suspend reality or logic when you go and watch a movie. You bring all that in there, that enhances it. You don't need to. It's just how people think. That's, and that's fine, bro. They're not ready. They're not ready for they're not ready for that message. About 2 or 3 years, maybe 5 years down the road, it'll hit them in their goddamn head. But man, enough is enough, man. All right, yeah. I'm just saying, man. Y'all know they got these people out here y'all be talking to, man, and you just not reaching them. I can't do nothing with you, man. I'm sorry. Holler at me in 5 years, you'll get it then. You'll get it in 5 years. 5 years from now, your ass will get it. There's some of them just slow as hell. All right, but yeah, it's the people like Carr. Listen, I'm not mad at people for liking Derek Carr. I'm not mad at them for liking Derek Carr, but understand this: when I tell y'all about Derek Carr and his performances based on what I've seen from Derek Carr as a New Orleans Saints quarterback, what I've seen him do in the uniform of a New Orleans Saints player. Watching and studying this film on Derek Carr, I've given you my absolute honest assessment of Derek Carr, and I give them to you over and over again, and notice they don't change. Notice the truth don't change. It don't fold or morph into something else. I say the same thing about Derek Carr every time I break down Derek Carr's problems. I like the fact he got a strong arm. When he gets going, he's a what you call him? He's a rhythm passer. Like if you get him going and you get his emotions riled up in it, you get a different version of him. When you get him going early and he gets motivated, he starts pumping his fist like that, you get a different version of him when he's emotional like that. But when it's bad and it appears like in the games that I've seen when things turn bad is you don't get the same motivational energy out of the guy, right? It's different. It's like some guys stuff can be going bad and then you just, the guy just goes and wrestle and just use tough jarring verbiage to wake guys up out of their stupors so they can start playing better. Right? Like, no, come on, guys. Come on, guys. We need to do better. No, none of that. And none of that. Like, guys, listen, we're right here at the fulcrum. We can do this. No. Because a lot of guys they're not going to respond to that low vibrational, weak, garbage time energy. You need to jar these guys, and you need a lot more aggressive verbiage. Then come on, guys, we can. Nah. You better raise that up to the 10th power. So, like I said, man, $150 million for a quarterback, and he's barely above 500. He was hurt, and he played hurt, which was the first year he played hurt, which I gave him a pass on that because that was wrong for the dumb garbage Saints to do him that, because the guy was broken up. They was shooting him with painkillers. His eyes was bucking. Some of them games he didn't know what planet he was on, and he was out there trying to compete. And it just was not good. I despise Dennis Allen for what he did to Derek Carr. People don't remember that, but he was out there playing hurt that first year, and he shouldn't have been out there. Should have been Jameis out there, because when Jameis was, I ain't gonna even get into none of that, man. I'm not going to even get into any of that other stuff. Not going to get into it. I'm not going to talk about whether they should have had Jameis here or not. But the bottom line is this. What I'm saying is this, is that Derek Carr that he played to the best of his ability. He was hurt out there playing. The Saints were shooting him up with painkillers in his body to numb the pain so he can get out there to throw the ball. He didn't have much of a touch on the pain. You can look at some of them games when he was out there playing. The guy's eyes was bucking out of his head. I was like, this is wrong to do anybody that kind of way. But I remember all of that. That's why I'm like, it just wasn't a good look. And he was pressed to play because he felt the pressure of making that kind of money, and he felt like he had to be there. And it was a bad decision. If you're hurt, don't play the man hurt. That's terrible. And it just didn't get a good result. And then at the end of the year, he talked about having multiple broken bones in his body, and he couldn't even move. He had to go after the surgery, and he had to do all this kind of old stuff. And he come back next year, and he gets hurt again. And he getting older, and and when you get hurt like that, the guys, you can see he don't have much of a clock in concept, like his mental, like you have a clock in your head of how long you have with the ball, what you need to do, going through your progressions, check, getting the ball out to the routes that it is supposed to be, but you're supposed to look over everything and just seeing the field correctly. Then when he got hurt and came back, everything changed. You could see it. The verbiage with Clint Kubiak was different. The aggression level with Kubiak was different. A lot of the throws were throws where they were forcing him to read the field. It was more pre-scripted throws where he would just turn and fire down one side of the field or the other side of the field, that type of stuff. And it became very dull and predictable. So, like I said, can Dougie Nussmeier take Carr and turn him into something that we haven't seen consistently? It's a possibility, but at the end of the day, I would rather not do that. Like, he'll pick it up as he goes, but the bottom line is, if the man is supposed to have develop and be something great and fantastic, that is supposed to be on that level where that it'll be it'll be something special with Derek Carr. Let's just say it like that, right? So anyway, with that being said, man, listen, shout out to you guys, man, for being in the stream, man. Much love to everybody out there, man. All right. Doc says all the BS going in the country, we gotta. He says, "What's that, Doc? Gotta be some stability from the hood." The thing is, sooner or later, man, we gonna turn it around, man. We got no choice. He ain't got no damn choice. We got to do something. What's up, Rock? How you doing, sir? Shout out to Rock, man. Big ups to you. Appreciate you. Poppy 504. All right, much love. What's up, Rook? He says Carr probably won't even show up for the season. No, I think he'll be there. Carr's going to be there. Agreed. She said Jameis should have played when Carr was hurt. Yeah. We talked about that. I don't know what that was all about. Panda says Carr not being in New Orleans for Super Bowl week tells me everything I need to know. I still say that it eventually. What's up, Quavadia? Shout out to you, fam. Yeah, I still see Carr. I don't think Carr should show up and play. Carr should show up and play. All I'm saying is at the end of the day is that, man, I really don't know what to say about in terms of what he will bring, man. I just prefer to have more of a run-based attack, and that's just me because I just think that'll be probably the best bet for him because they're going to come for him, man. And I want to beef up our offensive line. I want to have a strong running attack that takes pressure off the quarterback. He'll give him a wide receiver, all this kind of old stuff. And really, he'll be here for the next 2 years. You'll have a successor in place, hopefully, and then we can pivot and move and keep the thing going. We'll have the talent in place to just keep doing it because we know what this is. The money situation with the Saints have done, they've kicked the can into next year, and then they'll do the same thing next year, and then whatever washes through next year into 2027 when you'll have $200-something million or whatever it is. But based on what the Saints do now, goes into next year, and next year goes into the following year, and it decreases that value down. So if they're talking about winning right away, that to me seems the best route. Now, like I said, I don't dislike Derek Carr. I just want him to be a better quarterback, and that's by taking it and being more of accountable and really looking at him, looking at film of himself and looking at the fact that he is staring people down, that he needs to develop a clock in his head. And that's hard to say for a guy that's been in, that's 12-something years of bad habits as a quarterback, And don't get me wrong, there is a lot of positive things to Carr's game, but the things that I'm saying is the things that will take his game to the next level is what I'm saying. Like that'll go to the next level. And those things are really kind of stifling him out. Now, I don't know what you can do about him being scary because he's definitely that. And I get it being that he got knocked on his ass and beat up a lot over the last couple of years. I don't know if he got kicked. I don't know if he got his tail kicked as much as he's gotten over the last couple of years here in New Orleans as he's been in the 10 years that he was with the Raiders. I don't know if he got beat up that badly in 2 years. I really don't know because he got hurt last year and the year before that. So if you don't want him hurt this upcoming year, you're going to want to you better invest some money in that line. That's what I'm saying. You better stop playing. Was it Cesar Ruiz? Somebody need who's the offensive line coach need to get in there and get on Cesar Ruiz, man, and make him play better. Cesar Ruiz need to play better, man. Definitely need to do that. All right. Anyway, Bobby says, he says, I'm going to have to talk with Derek Carr. Yeah, y'all please do talk to him. Cause like I said, he got a lot of good things about his game, but I just want him to stop staring people down. Could we agree upon that? Could we get you to go through all your progressions like you were trained to do? You were supposed to be properly trained to look through your entire progression plate before you throw the ball. Stop checking it down so much. You're checking it down so much because you're not going through your full progression plate. You're looking at half the field. That's why you're forcing it there as opposed to seeing that a guy wide open over there or that guy wide open with no safety support, one-on-one with that cornerback, streaking down the right side of the field, and you don't even look over there. I mean, that's simple stuff. If you can do that, and I know that's simple, but for a guy with bad habits, I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see what's going on. We'll see. Can we get them to do that? Can we get them to do that shit? What's up, Mr. Fire D? All right, Jack says, Q, you think we hit bottom yet? You would think, right? 12 losses last year that's the worst that we've seen since Katrina year. You're right. What was it? That was the worst year since prior to Sean Payton taking the job. So I guess, but bottom would be worse than that. Bottom would be the Dicker years, bro. In recent memory, the Dicker years when you had like 3 wins. So we hadn't hit rock bottom yet, historically speaking, which is really awful. But Kellen Moore, the Saints have people. They have talent. Can they be accountable? Can they get these guys in the right position to win? Could we really focus on the things that need to be fixed properly and be about the business of just staying on code? Can we do that? If we do that, you guys will see some stuff happen. You'll see some stuff turn around. Biggest problem, I've said it for a while, biggest problem with the New Orleans Saints organization is accountability. They don't hire accountable people at the top. That's how Mickey Loomis hired Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen is not accountable. He was never that guy. He can run a defense, yes, but he can't run a team. He wasn't organized enough. He was really questionable with his decision making. He floated around on a cloud, and he did real suspect stuff. And he created cracks and fractures in his own team. He did not uphold the status of accountability at all. These people running around here, they wasn't paying, they was dropping balls, missing tackles, they was doing all this stuff, and nobody was making them pay. And then when I calls them out, they get mad at me. The people get mad at me for calling these players out for not doing their job and collecting checks. I don't understand that. How that work? I don't get that part of the game. I thought you would rock with me on a lot of y'all do, but I'm saying some people's like me calling these assholes out, man, and telling them what they supposed to be doing. Listen, man, we paying you handsomely to play a kid's game. They always throw that kid's game crap. Yeah, we getting paid like Juwan Johnson say. We get paid, it's a kid's game. Hey, I say it's a kid's game, but that ain't no kid's money you making. That's where it changes the dynamic of it being a kid's game. You're getting tens of millions of dollars to play football, man. Yeah, it's a kid's game, yeah, but that's not no kid's money. Preference it that way. And when that's not kids' money, that's where the pressure comes in because the wins have to happen. We want a bunch of Tiggers here. Tigger's the dumb thing bouncing on his tail, Winnie the Pooh sidekick, saying stupid shit. No, Juwan. No, Juwan Johnson. We don't need no Tiggers here, dude. No, we had Tiggers here last year and the year before that and the year before that. We don't need no Tiggers. We don't need that. We don't need that. We just want to have fun. No, you ain't going to have fun if you're losing. I promise you that because we're going to make sure you don't have no fun. I'm just going to keep it honest. We don't want to see that. I don't want no Tiggers running around here, dude. I'm serious, man. That guy said that. Yeah, man, we need to, have more Tiggers here. No. That's terrible for you to say that. And you just got freaking paid. They just gave your ass some money. We need more Tiggers. No, we don't need no Tiggers. Get your ass on out of here. We gonna say that after we gave you the money. You know what I'm saying? No. No. We need fighters here. We don't need a whatever that thing was, bouncing on his tail, falling around and being stupid. We don't need none of that. What's wrong with these people, man? How we hire these soft ass people, man? It's a football team, man. It's not a preschool. Hey, we need some Tiggers around here. Hey, Winnie the Pooh. No. Atlanta Falcon people say, yeah, we need some, yeah. Nah, man, because if you punch Tigger, he ain't fighting back. That's all I know. That's soft, man. Boy, that's soft, man, with that marshmallow talk, man. What's wrong with these people? All right, man. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on, fam. We'll get it right. But we'll see what's happening, man. I don't know, fam. I think Derek Carr is not going to go anywhere. I hear the rumors, they're saying the articles about Derek Carr and him, the Saints possibly trading him and all that. They restructured them. I don't know who would take on this contract. I mean, I guess you can kind of rework it and however the case. And if you trade him, then I guess it's some stuff around it. But I don't go for any of that because I know who the VP general manager guy is. And he's not a very imaginative dude in doing anything. He had a chance to trade Derek Carr before the restructure. The time has passed on that. Derek Carr is going to be with the Saints for this year and next year. That's how I see it because I know the general manager of this team and how he operates. He is not an imaginative dude. You see what he's doing, right? He restructured everybody and kicked the money into next year, and you got minus $6 million. Oh my goodness. 2026, fam. This already is minus $6 million. It's in the red for 2026. Oh, like, man, boy, oh boy. It's already you minus 6.2 million. Let the games begin. Oh my goodness, man. Isn't it lovely to be a Saints supporter, man? If anything, they're gonna keep you laughing. All right. Yeah, thank you, Bob. Appreciate you. All right. Yeah, there's some people, man, you just gotta let them know, man. Like some of our Saints people out there. Listen, man, you gonna get it. If you ain't got it by now, you will get it. You just holler at me in about 3 years. I had people telling me that for years. I've been talking like this for years. I've been blasting Mickey Loomis. I've been blasting when it don't matter, fam. Listen, the code ain't the people. The code is the code. Understand that. See, people, I want a lot of the people the Great Saint Think Tank get it. But for the other folks that don't get it, fam, listen, your loyalties don't lie with the players. The players can go to another team and come back to beat you. They don't have any loyalty for you. They just hired guns. You've seen it happen over and over again if you pay attention to Saints history. Martin Anderson, Joe Horn, Bobby Hebert, go down the list. Some of the greatest players for Saints, they go somewhere else. Saints didn't want to pay them. They went to the rival and helped contribute in beating the Saints. They did. They just hired guns. You don't have no loyalty to these players. They don't have any loyalty to you. They'll tell you whatever you want to hear while they're here, and then they'll say the same shit when they go to the next team. They'll tell them the same thing. Look what Chauncey Gardner-Johnson did. When he left the Saints, he was talking big for the Saints. He went to Philly, he was talking big for Philly. He went to Detroit, he was talking big for them. You see what I'm saying? They're a hired gun. They'll speak whatever they're paid to say. Come on, it's real talk here, man. Your loyalties don't reside with the player or even the team for that matter. The loyalties reside with the code. The code is winning. The code is accountability. The code is respect. The code is honor. The code is integrity. That's what it is. You don't latch your ass to this team and they doing everything under the sun and losing and excuse making. You don't latch to them like that. You latch to the code. And when you latch to the code, then you can call these people out and you can force them to do what you want to do, just like we forced them to fire Dennis Allen. That's the code. You rock with the code, not the team, not the players, because the team will sell you out like they're doing right now, ignoring all of this other stuff, like fixing the health staff, like doing the supporters better by giving them discount on tickets. Giving them cutting the merch prices in half, cutting those concession prices in half, not charging them parking. When you know you're getting tax money for us to pay for your arenas and you making billions of dollars and not giving any of it back, except when you give it through your charity and use it as a tax break. See, I know the game. Some people don't, but I'm telling you, man, you don't do that. You don't do that. You stick to the code, not the team or these players, because they'll kick you in your tail. Especially when they think they disrespect how you think. That's how they can raise the ticket prices on you when they got a failing product. They just think they can give you anything. Well, part of the game is respect on that. For those people who get what I'm saying. Well, part of the game is that what you'll let a person do you that? Man, come on, man. The code is where you're supposed to be in the Who Dat Nation. That's where you're supposed to reside. That's how I live, man. I've been talking like this. I've been walking like this, and it won't change ever. Anyway, with that being said, I'm out on that, man. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I talking at y'all. I thank y'all for giving me the time tonight, man, to be able to kind of go over some of this stuff here. And it is real deal Holyfield and the mighty Who That Nation. That's all I got to say, baby. But anyway, listen, fam, a brief broadcasting note, man. Be hooking up with my brother TJ tomorrow. I'm gonna be on his stream tomorrow to talk some Saints with my little brother TJ, man. Much love and respect to that brother, man. He doing great things over there, man. We're gonna be going over there, talk some Saints stuff. So that'll be tomorrow, fam. So y'all be looking out for that broadcast there. And listen, man, as always, man, y'all keep y'all stay positive insofar as being on code with each other, man. And listen, man, Saints making some moves. It ain't done yet, baby. And all we can do is sit back and see what happening, man. You know, that's all we can do for the most part, man. But let's stay on code, man. That's all we got, man. The code. With that being said, I'm out on that, man. I love y'all. Y'all hit up our sponsors, Mint Mobile, T Chinley, and Bet Online. Merch, all those links in the description section or in the chat. Matter of fact, before I leave, let me kind of reverse and go over this poll that for those people that had not voted. Oh, I ain't mean to hit the damn button on it right there. We had 130 plus people that voted on the poll today, and 50% of the people said the Saints will win because the poll question was, how many wins do you think the Saints will get this season? It had 7. I mean, I ain't mean to hit the button that soon, but 7 to 9 wins was option number 1. 10 or more was well, that's what is it? 50? Well, you got to be kidding. 50% of the 50% of the people say, "Hey, man, QA, man, they're gonna win 7 to 9 games." 22% of the people says 10 or more, and 18% says 5 to 6 wins, and 8% says 4 or less. So there you go. So a lot of people believe that the Saints going to be somewhere between 7 and 9 wins, which is actually an upgrade based on what we did last year. Because if you remember, we only won 5 games last year, so going 7 to 9 wins would actually be an upgrade. How about that? Anyway, man, listen, man. With that being said, I'm gonna get out on that. I'll let y'all on the next one, man. Much love, peace, and who that to you.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Fucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, money like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Say they gon' beat them Saints. Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that?
Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to NHL and UFC. BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source for every three-pointer to hat trick. BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. So check out the Pro Shop and Who That too.